I just have the honor and pleasure of introducing somebody that's become a very, very close friend of mine over the last few years, Sturesson, who is the international chairman of the International Christian Chamber of Commerce. How many people from ICCC do we have here today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. So the International Christian Chamber of Commerce has chambers in around 70 nations around the world, and they are an organization that has been dedicated to supporting the state of Israel through trade and commerce. And really, they're our key anchor partner with Arise. And those of you who are on the tour and participated in the celebration last night know that my wife put me on the spot and asked me to be the drummer with our little music band. And there's at least one businessman in this room who I think is a more accomplished drummer than I am, and at least. But that would be Sturesson. We've had some jam sessions together. So Jan, please, we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's with, I would say, great joy in my heart that I'm standing here and welcome you to Arise 2019 together with Carla Mayer and Miriam Cohn. It's really a privilege. And I would say that today we are creating future. While we create this future, you might help me to pray for our sound engineer so we get this sound right. But we're creating future, which means we are making history. And that's very important. And we said here, we heard Carl speak about innovation for good. That's right. And I think we should start to innovate linked to this issue. Because it's well known, but here it says, sorry, Mr. Smith, we have to cancel your operation since you are boycotting Israel. The equipment and drugs we use for your treatment is from Israel. We have to let you go. Well, can I call my family? No, your cell phone is also designed in Israel. So this is the nation of innovation. And I would say we quite well know that it means boycott, disinvestment, and sanctions. But if we apply innovation, which is thinking not only outside the box, it's thinking without the box. We can say, we take it away, and we say, okay, this is it. It's to bless, to direct invest, and to serve Israel. That's what you do here today. So this is innovation for good. And let me say that ICCC has a very strong history. I'm not a historian, I'm more a futurist, but let's spend 3 minutes on history. And I would say that when we came here for the first time was 1991. And we were able to sponsor some of the cost for the flights from Moscow and Kiev with the homecoming Jewish people, with all their belongings in a plastic bag. And it was just like heaven said, you go and serve. You help to create jobs. That's what we have been doing since then. So you can say here was it led us up to a matchmaking 92. It took us to the next thing was during the Intifada with 450 people. A lot of matchmaking took place 2002 here not here, but in Jerusalem. And we went on for the 2008, and it was about how do we connect, because I feel we should connect the dots between the nations. And for us, I'm coming from Sweden, that's not the center of earth. Israel is the center of earth, literally, but also when it comes to business. So that was what we did with African leaders, ministers, and so on. And it's also about, quite recently, we have a delegation of businessmen coming here. And we saw great, water, irrigation, innovation, development, and things, and there was a lot of things happening. So that is very crucial for us to see these things happening. And last year, we felt, that's my introductory speech, we felt at the time that the hour has come for IC to serve Israel in a completely new way, which means more feet on the ground, more doing business, more finding solutions for the future. So having said that wonderful word, future, it's about the opposite to history in a sense. At the same time, we're living here right now today, and that's the in-between space of history and future. History is evidence-based, and it's kind of a thing which is research. But future, future, that's not evidence-based, and that is about foresearch. We have to have a focus on these days while we connect together of foresearch, of looking forward, doing things together. So if I think about what is then the future, and why are we here, it's very clear that the blockchain, the Internet of Things, and all these kind of very interesting technologies, AI, for example, is very, very crucial for mankind and the future. The question is, how do we deal with this? And I love AI, but what is AI? It sounds artificial intelligence. It sounds very artificial. So what is AI? It's authentic intelligence. I am AI, I'm authentic. You are authentic. At the same time, we are artificial because we are created human beings to create creations. How do we deal with this? I will tell you soon a story about not a walking, but a human robot I met. And this is very interesting. So I think this is coming, and it says robots, the Earth's future citizens. And it's about the brain implants. There's a huge discussion right now between Elon Musk and different people if there's a need for an upgrade or not in our brains. The very well-known guy who recently died in physics said the robots will maybe not only create a lot of things for us, they will maybe also kill us. So we need good human beings to innovate for good, to control those things in the future and today. But it's also about nanotechnology, and it's about cybersecurity, or I would say societal security. Maybe it's a more relevant name for this. So I would say, having been working the last year with the European Commission about what EU called the KETs, the Key Enabling Technologies. And they are quite some very interesting, technologies. And I would guess about 98% of these technologies, they are having their R&D department in Israel, right? A big hand for this nation. This is not a coincidence. This is a reality. So how do we take this fact and take it to the next level of future and trying to say, well, with this Internet of Things, Internet of Human Beings, Internet of Everything, which is basically what's coming upon us, we need to navigate from knowledge to wisdom. And I was in a project I mentioned last night with the Commission as well, it was about understanding where is the European workforce. And we figured out that the European workforce is over-educated but under-skilled. And that's a very bad combination. And we also found out that the word skill means the power of discernment. So can we discern in technology? Because I think we love technology. I think God loves technology. I think God loves innovation, and we would like to see new businesses coming out. So we could discern between stupidity and the wisdom. Having said that, it's important to understand that these, if you just pick some of those technologies, you can think about what these could be doing for the future. But having all this knowledge in this room, in this nation, and it's important to say that we need the Hebrew, Jewish, Christian values. We share some values very clearly from the beginning, which has to be implemented into the, let's say, the new regulatory framework of big data analytics. What to display, what not to display when you come into a new country. What is the traceability of your cell phones and your computers and wherever you go? And China just introduced yesterday obligatory, mandatory face recognition for everybody who carries a cell phone. Things are happening. Great opportunities, decrease of terrorism maybe, but also maybe a decrease of integrity. What does this mean? We don't know yet, but let's explore it. And as I said, I was in Dubai 2 years ago. On the stage comes a robot, a human robot, a humanoid. She, quote unquote, was called Sophia. And she's in the panel asking me, please, can you help me? Because I have just received citizenship of Saudi Arabia. I was there last week. I gained $1 billion for research for AI, and I'm now being here trying to create my family, and I want you to help me to get human rights. I was completely stunned. I was put on mute. What do you say with all these guys in the room? So I said, I'm sorry, but you are not a human being. You are not Sophia. You are not female. You are stuff and silicon and steel and great thinking. And I don't think you should have had citizenship and a bank account in Saudi Arabia. And how about human rights? I would suggest that Saudi Arabia gives the female population human rights before the robots. So we are entering into a phase of life on Earth which is very interesting. And it was wonderful to see this walk. This is really innovation for good. So how do we take this to the next level? I don't know. But I know that we are moving into the future, and that's the future of trade. And let me end with just saying that the future of trade is not only about business, goods and services. It's about knowledge and wisdom. It's about a lot of thoughts. I think it's we in the world we're going from financial capital, FC, to IC. Not ICCC, but IC. IC means intellectual capital. That's the asset. That's the balance sheet in all this company we will see here. It's not about cash flow. Well, of course, it's very important, but that's history. That's history. The fruit we're eating is history, but the roots we are having in the soil, it's the future. So how about these innovations? And you can think about this trade issue. We can think, well, this is scary. Yes, it is. We can think this is the real issue. It's not. What's the real issue? Because you can say this is a problem. Yes. So what's the other side of the coin? The other side of the coin is an opportunity. So if we go here, we can say that this is probably the future. This is about connecting the nation of nations into the nations of the mutual blessing on a two-way street. Serving, supporting one another, make great things, not war, and innovate for good together with God, or we can make a lot of acronyms, and this is wonderful. And I also think that this has to do with the issue of knowledge. And I would say that the whole thing is actually being taken in a paradigm shift. And I would say we are moving from to know to knowledge to the unknown, number one. Number two, we are moving from knowledge management to knowledge leadership, and probably to knowledge flow and knowledge cultivation. The culture of Israel to gain knowledge is huge. That's why the success is so big. It's in the ecosystem. And I will also say when it comes to management, the people of the world today in many companies, I've been working with many companies and governments while I was a global partner of PwC, and I figured out that people were over-managed but under-led. We need leadership. You are here to lead, which means go for. People will follow. Number three, it's about from the personal profit to a collective purpose. That's a big thing of knowledge development. How we come from personal profit to a common purpose. And it's also about from going from best practice into best option. We will learn and be inspired here from Israel and take it into the best option for us all. And I would say we're going from the situation of boundaries into an opportunity in between space to create values and to really leave the issue of just compliance into value creation. Friends, go and serve. Go and create for good. Go and create values during the day. Thank you very much. Welcome.